It's time to convert these points into a volume. And as I mentioned before, we will use the volume rasterize attributes to do this. So click on the node, connect it underneath the P scale, and click on its display flag. So the points disappeared and apparently nothing has happened. So if you check the information here on the volume rasterized node, we don't have any more points, but we still don't have any volumes. So what we need to do before we create the volume is define which of the attributes we want to get rasterized. In this case, you can either use this drop-down menu, or you can manually type the values of the attributes we want rasterized. In this case, we want density. We want the color, CD, so that will be capital letter C and small d. And finally, we want the velocity, which I mentioned before is the V attribute. So now let's type enter and take a look at the information again. So this time we have a CD volume, our color, our density volume, and our velocity volume. And these are all VDBs, as you can see here. Okay, so one final notice, if we want a higher resolution for this volume, the only thing that we have to do is decrease the voxel size. So the smaller this value is, the higher the resolution of the volumes. And probably you have guessed by now, we can also link this voxel size value to our particle separation here. That way, by only changing this value, both the particle scale and the voxel size will be changed automatically. So this time, let's go for a higher resolution. So I will decrease this value to 0.04. Press enter. And at this point, we have our emitter ready to create our fluid simulation. So before we create our simulation nodes, let's add a null just below the volume rasterize. Let's change its color and call it out source. And now we're ready to proceed with our simulation.